Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Married at First Sight All Star Panel. With Jack and Glenn today. Hope all is well. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Everybody enjoying themselves. What we're going to do here, we're going to talk a little bit about Married at First Sight. Man, this will be one of the last ones that we have for a while until after reunion. So let's hop into it. Let's talk about Married at First Sight. What did you guys enjoy from this past episode of Married at First Sight? What did you what did you see was different? What did you notice? I just noticed a lot of different things, man. What's up, Jack? How you doing this afternoon?
I'm good.
Are you waiting for me to get to you? I was waiting for you to get your glasses on, but not
So I can see.
so you can see, right? She may have a little bit of snacks this afternoon, so you might see her munching a little bit.
Maybe.
Hey, maybe. What's up,
I
Sharon?
never do that.
What's up, Sharon? How you doing today? Us all well, but Married at First Sight, man. I think it's still the season's still long. I did enjoy this little episode that they had, but I tell you what I enjoyed. All right, let me tell you what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the chemistry between Eris and Jasmine.
It makes me mad. It makes me mad because it is some chemistry, but it's absolutely friendly.
It's friendly,
but I'm glad they can be friends, but they didn't get into Married at First Sight to find a friend.
No, but the chemistry between them is fun, especially when you can see that we'll get to it with Dom and them kissing.
Hi, sister.
On the back end of it, where they were real friendly, like, girl, you missed it, and Eris was chiming in, and I thought, like, you know what? Why didn't y'all work? Like, where was this at doing the show? Because we didn't get to see none of that.
He was just not attracted to her at all.
Yes, he wasn't attracted to her at all. But let's get started with the beginning. We get started where we at with the show. So again, we see one of the things that was good there. So we're gonna hit the highlights for those who didn't watch the show. Just gonna hit the highlights of some of the things that happened during the show. We find out they have a birthday. Nicole has a birthday party for her dog. I don't know about y'all. Y'all are dog lovers, and those in the chat help me out, right?
Do you have birthday parties for your dog?
Do you have birthday party for your animals? I've never seen this. I've never been to one. Mm-hmm. Never been invited to one. Never asked anybody to come on. Our sister-in-law in the chat. She had a dog for years. Sister, like, did you ever throw Mocha a birthday party? I mean, I just know that, but again, yeah. I just never had anybody to throw, birthday parties for animals. I just didn't see that. And I thought that was kind of like weird. Like and then everybody comes together around for this birthday party.
And they brought gifts. They brought gifts for Charlie. Charlie turned 2.
Yeah.
And that's really 14 in dog years, right?
Yeah, I think, 14.
In human years.
Human years. Yeah, it's 2 in dog years. And yeah, every.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. So they brought gifts for Charlie.
Yeah.
So. Oh, really? Oh, it wasn't a ritual?
Yeah. I just don't get it. But again, everybody showed up. First time Mac has been with the group in a long time. So he said he didn't care if Dom was there or not.
Today's your dog's birthday, right?
Right. Didn't care if Dom was there or not. What we found out on the after party is Dom had the green hoodie on that her and Mac wore the night after the honeymoon to go. He thought it was kind of a shot that she put the green hoodie on. And like, oh, see, I can wear the hoodie now since I'm not with you type deal. So Mac was there. He asked a question to Kirsten about Shaq. Had she talked to Shaq? And she's like, yeah, I talked to him. I called him with when his
grandmother passed away. I talked to him. I gave him my condolences and everything. And the funniest part, me and my daughter just got a kick out of when he was like, I'm sure, I know Shaquille appreciated that. And Kirsten was like, I know he does. I know he did. I was like, what?
Yo, I like this.
That was hilarious.
I like this Kirsten. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. She had, to me, during the show, she was dry. Maybe that's the way, I didn't say they edited. Mm-hmm. But this Kirsten right here has no filter.
Yeah.
This Kirsten right here, maybe this is what Shaq was getting. And that's why he was like, because she has no filter. She had these last 2 quote unquote episodes while she wasn't married. She has no filter. She's saying what's on her mind, and especially when it comes to Shaq.
I'm not mad at her.
Especially when it's coming to Shaq. So she's giving Shaq the business. Well, anyway, they had the dog birthday party. Then we see, let's get him. We see my man Eris go out on a date. Now, at least
I want to know what y'all thought about this date.
At least Married at First Sight was honest this time, right? unlike the girl that Clint went out with from the last episode, where we, shout out to Married at First Sight fan, right, who showed the picture and showed that it was a former contestant. They didn't tell us.
Not contestant.
Oh, former
applicant. Potential participant.
Yeah. So at least this time, when Aris goes out with a young lady, we know that she was one of his options. He said was one of the options to be married to Aris, right? Which I thought she was pretty. Thought she was forthright. They started having the conversation. Aris was more attentive to her than he was with Jasmine.
And so we were trying to figure out why. She was thicker than Jasmine.
She was thicker than Jasmine.
Had
a better smile than Jasmine. I'm just saying.
And so, to me, that was the only real difference. And I'm like, maybe that's all it was. I really didn't care for the conversation that the two of them had, because he lied to me.
How you lie?
Because when they were talking about him getting married and Married at First Sight and like why it didn't work out and what you expecting, he didn't say nothing about the sex thing. He didn't say nothing about that.
Maybe he felt like there was a sex thing with him. He wasn't attracted to her.
Right, but what I'm saying is, why did you get into the marriage? What did you expect? What were you looking for? He conveniently didn't talk about the sex thing.
So you wanted him to
tell, and that was a thing for him.
You wanted him to tell her, hey, on their first date, well, the reason my marriage didn't work out because I wanted to know how it was to have marriage sex.
Yes, be honest.
But what could he say after that? Because Jasmine was willing to give it to him if he was doing right. She wanted to have sex with him. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to have sex with her. So, and then towards the attraction part, he didn't want to have sex with her. But Jasmine wanted to have sex with him originally. Mm-hmm.
They also had a conversation about spirituality and religion. She said, she wanted a
Christian man.
Right. I think so she was like, she's like a church going girl, she believes in God or whatever. And he was like, well, that's good for you. And it is. But he can't return what he doesn't do. He was like, I feel like you can have a relationship. Some of us might do meditation. Some people might do this, and this. And she was like I think what I didn't like about that conversation is she kind of like bended to him.
She gave in.
You know what I mean? She had came in with, I'm gonna stick to my guns. This is what I'm looking for in a guy. But then when he started talking, she was kind of like, well, I can see that too.
She should, if that was her motive, if that's what she wanted, she should have stuck to her guns. Mm-hmm. Stick to your guns, don't fold in, because now it's like, okay, you give into this. What else would you give into if they continue to date? So she again, I thought the conversation was kind of superficial, but
he definitely enjoyed it more than talking to Jasmine. I mean, he was all smiles and his little, and
he was willing to go out on a second date.
Yeah, and like I said, the only difference I could see is, she was her complexion's a little bit darker than Jasmine's. Yeah. She just had a little more, as Nicole says, she's a little bit thicker. Thicker than Jasmine.
Well, that's a question. Do you think they should have picked her over Jasmine?
Should the experts have picked her over Jasmine?
Should the experts have put her on the show other than Jasmine?
I don't know. We don't know all about her.
I'm just off of what you know, what you've seen, what you heard. I know Jasmine has it seems it's better to me. I think it's better to me when you put the pageant queen on the show. Mm-hmm. Because it's still TV, right? Mm-hmm. And I think this is where the experts match people back. It's TV, so I think you have to match people for TV purposes. Mm-hmm. Like who's going to come and watch? I don't think sometimes they don't match people for success of marriage. Mm-hmm. So they match people based off what they can do or what their backstory is. Maybe she didn't have the backstory but I think based off of all things with even, I think I still would have went with Jasmine.
Really, I can't say either way. But Aris definitely had a good time on a date with her. And she seemed like a nice young lady. But to me, she wasn't, her personality wise and how she talked and presented herself, she wasn't different from Jasmine, just thicker.
Yeah, she was
just thicker. And I'm not gonna make the teeth thing a thing, but
no, it's not.
It's but she was just thicker to me than Jasmine.
Right. You know what, Sharon? I want to put your comment up. That is, you know what? That is, I like that. And I never thought. I didn't even think about that. He didn't start with the sex thing. Did he learn, or was somebody in his ear like? Or was, again? I think some of you guys said earlier in the year, Aries, when we first had the sex thing, that Aries was sabotaging his marriage. That he didn't want to be with Jasmine anyway. He wanted to see how far. He wanted to see how far he would go. He didn't like Jasmine, so maybe was he sabotaging, or he didn't start with the sex thing, which was good though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good question. Why didn't he start with this? Why do you think he didn't start with the sex thing? Did he learn, or he was like, let me try something different?
Maybe he was like, let me try something different. But I just think he should have been more forthright when he said it didn't work out with them. I think he should have been more forthright. He didn't bring that up, and it's a way you can do that and be tactful.
Right. He wasn't tactful with Jasmine at all. Maybe because he figured I'm married, we ain't going nowhere. So let me just go ahead and shock you a little bit. I don't know. Aries is there's sometimes that there's things that Aries does that I like.
We know.
And it's not just me, but there's things. Then there's times things that Aries does make me scratch my head, like, bruh, like, what are you thinking? Or what are you doing? What are you like? Where are you going at? So it was there. So he went on a date, didn't work out. So I mean, I'm not saying it didn't work out. They were going to go on a second date. We're going to go on a second date. Let's get to this part. When Aries and Jasmine meet up with Shaq.
Yeah.
That they meet up with Shaq at a restaurant, bar, somewhere. And Shaq goes into, they ask Shaq how he's doing, how the family doing, and has he talked to Kirsten? He was like, well, she gave me the stare down, or she looked at me. She tried to avoid me when we was all together. And I was like, rightfully so. You broke her heart.
Right.
She was hurt.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he broke her heart, but she definitely was hurt. We found out on an after party that before decision day, she would always try to talk to him about, what way do you think you're leaning? And she could never get anything from him. And then for him to come to decision day and do like he did, she was like, you should have just said something.
Yeah, read between the lines. If someone, I think we say it all the time in this process. If you were somebody 8 weeks, and I'm not telling you to go overkill like Nicole asked me every day, but when we get to like week number 2 weeks left or 1 week left, that should be a topic of discussion all the time, in my opinion. Like, what are you feeling, or where are you leaning to on decision day? Where are you going? What do you think could happen, right? I figure if you get down to 2 weeks left or a week left on Married at First Sight, and y'all not talking about living together after the show or like moving to an apartment, the person that you dating, the answer might just be no. I do think, Sharon, I do think Shaq wants her to beg him to come back. And I think we saw in a preview on one of the reunion previews, Kevin Frazier asked him the question.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think even not so much. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Kevin Frazier asked him the question, was he intimidated, basically, of Kirsten? And I think Shaq, his insecurities, couldn't handle a woman like her. And I'm not, there's some men that can handle independent, strong women. There's some men that can't. And I think Shaq ultimately came down he was distracted and he wasn't confident in himself to be able to be with Kirsten. He felt like he couldn't live up to the expectations. Again, the expectation is just be a man, be you, do what you do. She's willing to say yes, and then you guys, because that's when he go back to when he was talking to Aries and Jasmine. That's basically what the conversation was like. Why didn't you kind of wait this thing out? Because the way he was talking, like, yeah, I thought we could make it. But just that day, I decided to say no.
Like, why? But Sharon, I don't think he wants her to beg as much as he wants her to act like, act like you want me to be there. And so you can't do that with some people. She like, you said no, it is what it is. Whatever I felt, it's almost like Lindsay was like that when her and Mark broke up. She was like, it's like you don't exist to me. Right. Somebody else was like that. Bow, I think, mentioned somebody else, but I think he just wants her to want him, because later on, to jump ahead in the episode, Kirsten and Shaq meet up because she wants some closure. Like, why did you say no? And why were you crying? And he was still the same thing. I just, felt alone. We had these ups and downs in our marriage. We were just never on the same page. And man, her face had me weak because but it probably was the son too, but she was looking at him like, what? And when they left the conversation, he was like, oh, it went as I expected. She wasn't nurturing. She wasn't caring or anything like that.
I kind of agree with him on that. I mean, and on that aspect, this is why, because if you tell me that you felt alone, my next question is, why did you feel alone in a relationship? Why did you feel alone and we're all together, right? Were you alone when we were sexing? Were you alone when I'm letting you paint me? Were you alone when we were eating dinner? Why did you feel alone and how did you feel alone? Is it because I just didn't come to your event? And she explained that on one of the episodes of one of the shows. I can't remember, it was After Party, whatever. It was that he really never explained the Memphis event to her. Like, why was it so important? She's like, I didn't know he was presenting. I didn't know that he was doing something. If he was trying to do that as a surprise, I didn't know the whole details. That's why I decided I could miss this one. But again, if she was cold because she didn't ask the questions that I thought she should have asked. There were some questions that should have been asked. Like, why did you feel alone? Why is it that, you waited until the decision day to make the decision about being with me? Those type of things. I would have asked that. Was she cold about his grandmother? No, because she called him. She didn't have to do that. She wasn't cold about the grandma. She had to call him and had to deal with the grandma issue. And she like, well, she at least think, what did he say about the funeral? She could have did something. He said something smart about
basically that's like, again, you couldn't have asked more about,
how my family's
what
doing.
can I do or how my family's doing or whatever. She said it was a stress for her to call him because again, she's in her feelings because you said no. And she felt like she got slapped in the face. Right. I sat here and said yes, and then you said no. And then she felt like he gave her a bull crap answer for why, you said no. And so she's still in her feelings, and I guess in that space, she just really wanted some closure and to get some more answers from him. But
I just don't like the fact that he waited. He was in town for a couple of days, and you waited for the day that you were getting ready to leave.
Oh yeah, because he was leaving to go back
to have the conversation that night. To me, it's like, okay, if I want closure, I'm gonna give this time because I don't know how this is gonna go. It could have went to the way that, you know what, I'm gonna use one of your shows, like Grey's Anatomy. What's the girl, the two black doctors that made Grey's Anatomy, the young one that married with each other that you watch. They'd be off and on.
Winston and Maggie.
You could be like Winston and Maggie, where y'all can meet up and you know what, we rekindle that love, but you gotta hop on a plane the next hour. But I'm just saying, so it could have been that way because they hadn't talked since Decision Day. But at this time, Decision Day was 24 days ago. So about 24 days, almost a month, they had some feelings and issues. So I think Kirsten and Shaq, on paper, they look great. That's what Aris and Jasmine were saying. Like, y'all look like, and her cousin, they were like, y'all, I thought you guys were going to make it. And I think everybody thought they were going to make it. I think the cousin thought they were going to make it. Aris and Jasmine was like, y'all, it's not really that bad. You know what I'm saying? But Shaq made the decision. I'm not saying it was his decision. He's in a relationship. We're looking from the outside in. So he, his views, but just based off the answers that he's given, I don't.
That goes to ask wise question. But should one person's decision to stay married be based on what the other person is going to say? I guess no, it shouldn't be. But it shouldn't be. He chose himself. I understand that, but I guess Kirsten was like, I want to get to the root of it. That can't just be it. Like, what it really is, and we'll find out when they go to the reunion.
Yeah, I'm not knocking his decision, man. I think his decision was his decision, but I think my thing is, I've always said, I'm not going to lead you on the 8 weeks, and then I'm just going to pop up and say, you're going to know my decision was before 8 weeks. It's just that type of person I am. I'm going to let you know, look, I'm not going to surprise you. I care about you. I like you, but it's going to be a no for me.
And the thing about it is, he said, it's such a hard decision. He only really got to that place when they were sitting there. And then after he's like, maybe we could.
Yeah.
See, so no, you don't say yes based on what the other person's going to say, but you also don't come back later and say maybe we can. That maybe is off the table at this point because you just told me no, because we could have maybe stayed past the 8 weeks.
We could have maybe 8 weeks. Yeah, when you say maybe, and that's what another thing, what he's saying afterwards is also getting me to be like, you know what? he could have if he wanted to. Because I think you guys may agree or disagree. Do y'all think that stuff was fixable?
I believe it was.
They stuff.
It takes a listen. I think I said this on the other thing. When people always say that marriage is hard, I don't like to say it's hard. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes some compromising. It takes some effort you got to put forth to it. What the things that, but again, we don't live in Shaquille's head, so and we don't know all that was at play. But I think they really could have got past that because he felt alone in his marriage. Well, she did too. Because we saw the scenes from the cameras in the apartment. Yeah. They was like two ships passing in the night. They sit one end, not speaking to each other, not touching each other. So I don't know.
High vibe with that. Kirsten talked about this a little bit on After Party, a little bit. Like she want to embarrass Kirsten. He built up her thinking he should say yes. She mentioned that.
She felt that way.
She felt that way.
She felt like it was some get back.
Because
he said at first, she said I wasn't attracted to him because he was, bald or whatever. And she said that did come to her mind that she felt like it was some get back. Well, let me get you back. I hope not. That's very petty, but
it's petty to hang on to that for 8 weeks though. Mm-hmm. On some get back. If that's the case, you should pull a dime and just leave. Mm-hmm. If you want some get back, then what it is. So I don't think, it could be, but that's what she was feeling like. I think he's on some get back. Mm-hmm. That he was on some get back. So, wish them well. I can't wait for the reunion with these two. These two are two that I'm looking forward to at the reunion, but we don't get the reunion for like another 2 weeks.
2 more weeks.
In 2 weeks, right?
I want to say this too. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Because you touched on it. Kirsten did meet up with her cousin, mm-hmm. and she went to tell them that they decided not to stay married. Well, Shaquille did. But the first thing they noticed was she didn't have a ring on. Why you don't have a ring? And so that's when she went to explain. And the other thing that they talked about on After Party, and you'll notice every time Kirsten talks to somebody about Decision Day, she's like, and he cried. He was the one crying. That irks me. I'm like, leave that man alone. Yeah, he cried. That'll be the first thing she said. She told her cousin, and I don't know which one is actually her cousin by blood, but they're both her cousins because they're married.
Yeah.
Into the family. But the female was like, he cried.
Because they not used to seeing a man having emotion. I think it was a hard decision for him,
mm-hmm.
and that's why he's cried. I think it was a hard decision. He didn't want to. I don't know what I would have cried, but anyway, I would have just said no. I would have been like, nah, that's it, and explain my answer. I think he couldn't justify mm-hmm. in his mind. He really couldn't justify it. He knew that he cried. I think he cried because he couldn't live up to her expectation, and it was hurting him that he couldn't live up there. And so it was hard for him to say. And he was mixed emotions, so it's just one of those things.
But yeah, the cousins felt like they was very surprised, like everybody else. They felt like they could have worked out.
Ooh. D Brown said she mentioned he cried because she wanted to assault his masculinity.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Why else would I keep talking about a man crying unless I'm trying to call him weak?
And which goes to him not.
It's okay. It's okay for him to cry.
Yeah, and that's it. Calls back to him. It goes back to what he says, not living up to her expectation. Maybe she set the masculinity expectation too high,
mm-hmm.
that he knew he wouldn't live up to it. Or the man be the head of the household situation. He figured like I would never achieve these goals. I don't know. That's like I said, that's why I'm waiting for the reunion with these two. And I hope Kevin asked those real life questions. Those are questions like, why didn't you feel like you could live up to her expectations?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what expectation did she put on you that made you say, can't do it?
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. So, and how did you feel alone?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it was an attack on his masculinity. And it was bothering me that she kept that's the thing she harped on whenever she talked to somebody. And he cried after he said it. He cried. Okay, let that man shed his tears. He was hurt.
I agree with High Vibes. If you want to make another decision, make it. I think he was torn. I really think he was torn. And the first thing came out of his mouth. I want to see somebody at Decision Day say no, but they don't really mean no and say yes. Or say yes. And then we saw that.
But we said that they could have did. You really could. Alexis did it with Justin. She said yes,
mm-hmm.
and then she turned right back around and said no. I feel like but if you say no first, you really can't.
Yeah, you say no.
You can't backtrack. But right in that space, maybe. But once you get outside that space, you can't backtrack. You can't say, wait. I want to say yes. Because the other person's feelings already hurt at this point, and ain't no telling what you're gonna get.
You can play like Amani and Woody when Amani was like, no. And Woody was like,
but they knew that. But they knew that was for play.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I think you can't genuinely be like no, and then come back and retract that, because the other person will be like,
Yeah. So we also move on. We saw Nicole and Chris move into their new apartment and where they was doing all the work. Well, the guys were doing all the work. Nicole was just directing traffic. That's again. We saw her talk to her dad. Dad was like, I like Chris. See, Dad talked to Chris. They really that relationship is really blossoming, grew over the past.
Yeah, the dad specifically was like, "Hey, let me talk to Chris."
So, Dad thought he was an axe murderer, serial killer.
Well, he was like, I have to go extreme. It can be anything. So this is my child, this is my daughter. So, axe murderers, serial killers start off nice too.
Yeah.
I think that was just talk. But
let's get to this, because this was hilarious to me. It was hilarious. Dominique's and Gil conversation. So we get Dominique, who
hopefully y'all already know
that
when she talked to Clint, she was like, well, it was another guy that was on Married at First Sight that was like, was it anybody you would talk to? I would talk to Gil. So she actually has a conversation with Gil.
Dry. And she got up that conversation like she was like, oh, Gil. Gil was like, hello, who are you? Like, kind of basically, who are you? Like, he didn't know. It was just, to me, it was dry.
Well,
but even when he talked about, he's like, you didn't give it and he kind of scolded.
What happened? So you were, okay, so we're both in this Married at First Sight universe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how long did your marriage last?
Like 12 days.
No, I think she said 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And he was like, ugh. You can see his face like, what?
Red flag.
Me and my marriage didn't work out, but we went the whole 8 weeks and then some. And he was like, I feel like if you're in the process, you have to give it a try. And he did say that without saying, like, that's a red flag to me.
It's a red flag.
Like, you didn't even try. And I felt like she wasn't even moved by, like, she missed that whole thing.
She was just happy talking to Gil.
But he said he's dating somebody. He's been dating this person for a couple of months, I think he said, anyway. But the conversation was very dry. She was complimentary of him. He more so than he was of her, and not that he was rude or nothing. Yeah. She was just like, I was like, well, Gil, he's nice, he's patient, he because he was like, why me type of thing. But yeah, the conversation was very dry.
It was bad. I mean, Sharon, you're right. Dom didn't have no personality in that conversation, and it was no personality there. It was nothing there, and Gil was not in her. He was just taking control.
She seemed more like a fangirl. She was fangirling more than anything.
Oh, yes, she was. I mean, we also got to take into consideration her age too.
Mm-hmm.
It is
how old is Gil?
Gil is in 40s.
Yeah.
So it's like still a big gap there too, as well. So.
And Gil's playful, but Gil is serious. Is the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The conversation got real serious. He was looking like.
Yeah, she's a little bit immature in that sense. She didn't have. It just wasn't there. I mean, she was
just crushing.
She's like, I got your number. I'll call you. We'll call each other.
Yeah. He's gonna be busy for the next 4 weeks or so. I'll try to get in touch with you when I can.
There lies again. When a man tell you that he gonna be busy for the next 4 weeks, I've learned as a man. Look, if a man want to talk to you, I don't care what he got going on. He could be in the middle of anything, training besides basic training boot camp. When they take your phone, he'll be able to.
Even then, he'll have a desire to talk.
He'll have a desire to talk. He'll write you a letter. If a man wanted to talk to you, he'll talk to you. He'll find a way to talk to you within a 4-week span. And he didn't want anything to do with her whatsoever. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, Sharon, we did see Mirla on Kendra G's dating show.
Yeah, my sister's in the chat too. She hit me to that.
Thanks to Cassie for sending us that.
Mm-hmm, she hit me to that.
Coming. Y'all haven't seen it, check it out. It was coming for Mirla. they were coming for Miller hard.
She to me, she did and just to get off topic, in that conversation, to me, she did the same thing that I think Aris did with his date. Kind of threw off. Be honest about what happened. Let's be real. Let's be honest. But anyway, yeah, we saw that. But
y'all check it out. If I get I don't have my phone on me. If I have my phone, I'll put it in the chat. The link in the chat.
Be busy for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. But check it out. Just Google, go to YouTube and search Kendra G and Mildred and Mirla, and it's a good interview. 23, I think it's 23 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 23 minutes.
Well, it's not even really an interview. She's just asking her questions.
Yeah, asking a question.
But I agree. Dominique is immature, and I think maybe the traveling and stuff like that'll help. But I just think she needs to grow up. Period.
Her mom tried to say that too.
Mature.
When they sat down and had dinner, her mom was kind of telling her like, "You didn't try." Mm-hmm. Her mom was like kind of giving her the business, like, "You didn't really give it a chance. Give him a chance. You could have liked it. You was willing to bail. You bailed because you didn't see something that you like." Now, granted, all the things that she didn't like are coming true,
mm-hmm.
right? And so there is the catch-22 though, mm-hmm. because the things that she didn't like, or the reason that she said she left McKinley, are coming true. He didn't have roots. He was very sarcastic. The not being stable, and those things are coming true. So mm-hmm. it's like for her, in her mind, like my intuition was right.
Right. But her mom, the one thing her mom said is she kind of blamed herself for Dominique and McKinley not working out because she signed Dominique up for the process. But then she also said, but she went through with it. Mm-hmm. I signed her up for it, but she went through with it. So I really can't take the blame for it.
No.
But yeah, she was like, she kind of you should have tried more. And Dominique was like, tried more for like, so you want me to stay in it, like, for what?
But again, it goes back to anything that she's in. I'm not saying she quit. She did quit. She quit. It's like, at least give it a shot. I mean, you could be like Clint and Gina, sleep in separate rooms, keep getting them paychecks. She didn't need money. Or at least try. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. She never tried. I don't think she gave him a shot. And I think he was checked out anyway. Because I'm not just going to blame her. I blame him because he didn't like Dominique that much. He liked her boobs. If y'all remember, he always talked about her boobs. But he was eyeing Gina the whole time. Eyeing Gina, the eyes just glued on Gina the whole time. And we saw that when if you watched the after party, he was talking about that. I noticed you from day one, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, he wasn't interested in Dominique. He was interested in what Dominique could give him, but he wasn't interested in her. Mm-hmm. And that's because I blame both of them for not filling out. They filled out the application, but they weren't specific about what they wanted, and they got opposite. So,
and that's what we see. The other couples talk about that too. Mm-hmm. The fact that they went to the axe throwing.
Yeah,
and they talked about the fact that McKinley and Gina went out. And that's when she tried to call him.
Yeah, he didn't answer.
And he didn't answer. I think somebody else said they tried to get in touch with him and he didn't answer.
He didn't answer.
So she tried and he didn't answer. But she was like, we were going to try to go out again. It wasn't so bad. We got along and did the latte thing, but
she likes him. She likes him. She would rather be married to him than Clint.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two might have worked out.
I don't know.
Because again, McKinley pursued her, and this is what she said on After Party.
Yes.
McKinley pursued her and was giving more attention to her. And again, it goes back to what Clint said, that she's used to being the star of the party and or get the attention. And when somebody else gets the attention, she can handle it. So what McKinley has done, he's given her the attention. He doesn't want any attention. So the limelight is on her right now. All the spotlights are on her, and she's enjoying that. Mm-hmm. And she said Clint wasn't able to do that. Wasn't willing to do that. And McKinley is doing that. So now it is better for her. So that's why she likes him. Clint was when you're married to a personality, which Clint is, he's a personality. We saw that when Clint walked into the axe throwing place. By the way, Kirsten was in there.
She's on the after party. She was emotionally tapped out. She didn't want to come. She didn't feel like
being around nobody, dealing with it. So again, let's get to this. So Dominique, Clint to me is giving drunk vibe, right? Did anybody else get that? It seemed like Clint was a little bit.
He was. Everybody
tipsy.
In the club getting tipsy.
Yeah, like he was real tipsy. and like in this whole situation. So he's playful, was himself tipsy, and so they make the deal. If Nicole sets this up again, she's irritating at times.
Really?
I don't. Come on. First of all, it's not tasteful, right? This dude's ex-wife is in the room. Regardless if they did anything, regardless they messed with each other, regardless they had sex, they split up, whatever. Okay, his ex-wife is in the is in the room, and you're gonna ask him to kiss another girl, and both y'all hit the target or make it stick. To me, that's so messy. It's wrong in so many different levels. I don't know what y'all think. Maybe y'all do that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to see if I had an ex. I wouldn't want to see my ex kissing nobody. I wouldn't nobody like. Hey, what y'all doing? And it's not like it's 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road, right? It is there literally just a few days, 24 days out. 24 days for being married. And you asking your ex and you setting them up and they in the room, that's messy. Sorry.
It is. It's messy. Is, but
what's
I guess
up,
they
Q,
felt
man?
like
hey, chicken was great, bro.
I guess they felt like it was no issue because it was nothing between the two of them.
I don't care.
And Gina's thing was when they kissed, like she said, I didn't feel nothing. It didn't bother me at all. I wouldn't expect it to bother you because you don't like them.
She lied. Look at her face. I wish I pulled the clip up. She was like, in her face, she was like kind of like, wow. Like, ooh, okay. She covered her eyes. She it was messed up. She didn't like it. She can say what she want to say. It was nasty. It was nasty.
I think she just didn't want to see it. She just didn't want to see it.
And they went in. It's not like they just get a peck.
No. I mean to the point where Jasmine up front. This is where you can see the friend vibe with her and Eris. Like she like turned into Eris. Like I don't want to watch. I can't watch it. Oh my gosh, I can't see it. Oh my God, they really kissing. They're really kissing.
It was like tonguing each other down. It was like, yo.
And they came back. They kissed and then came back for more. I was like, this don't have nothing to do with that ex.
Came back for more. That had nothing. But it shows you, again, back to what you guys said, the immaturity of Dom. She has done this before. Hanging out at the club, hanging out with a club, with a party, her friends, her girls. She's done this before. It is simply something that was straight done. And Clint is that type of guy. He didn't care because he used to hookups. See, when you used to hookups, that stuff like that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who been with whom. I wonder. This is y'all. Let me know, y'all in the chat. Let me know if Clint and Gina had sex, consummated a marriage. If McKinley and Dom had consummated their marriage, do we get the same results? Do they swap each other?
No.
Does it make a difference?
I don't think so.
You know what, Sharon? Good point. Yeah, they were still married. 24 days, they got no divorce. You're right.
Right.
Yeah, 24 days, they still married. I forgot about that. 24. You're divorcing the person. That paperwork ain't gone through yet. I don't know what Tennessee laws is or rules in Tennessee, but that paperwork part, that not in 24 days. I've never seen anybody move that quick. Unless they got it annulled because they didn't have sex.
Right. No, they haven't gotten it done because Gina talked to the lawyer person on
right.
Not her lawyer, but she talked to a lawyer. I can't remember how.
Doggy lawyer.
I can't remember how they got connected, but she talked to someone about divorce, and there in Tennessee, it's like a 60-day thing.
Right.
They filed a paperwork. After 60 days, they have to do something else. And she even briefed her about, okay, what if, I started these businesses while we were married. Does he have any right to that? What's that have to do? And then they also talked about Hank, and the lawyer was like, he can't really rightfully take Hank, but I wouldn't let him hang out with Hank no more. Because he could not bring him back. Gina said, I don't expect him to do that. But
put it this way.
She was like, I want to make sure I keep my Hank.
Clint is not worried about her money. Right? This is the man who's willing to drop $10,000 for the dog. He's not worried about your little business money that you started up in the 8 weeks that they were married. Yet y'all was married. Like, dude is not. that money to him is nothing. He was getting ready to give. First of all, give me 10 for my dog. You can have him. If I had a dog, I don't have a dog. I don't have a dog. Sorry, but if I had a dog, and you give me 10 for the dog, you can have it. We'll be all right.
Yeah. And so we also saw Clint go to see a lady about getting a puppy. Hank got his he got the itch to buy a dog. Yeah. So he said he really wanted to walk away with the dog right then, but he said he wasn't gonna be impulsive. But he saw the puppies. But I thought that was funny that she would specifically talk to the lawyer about the dog and her businesses.
Clint doesn't want that, man. He's not gonna take the dog like that. But I agree, Sharon. I didn't even think about that. They're not actually divorced, so it's
right.
New point. That is, to me, was nasty. I just want to know what happened afterwards.
Yeah, because the producer was like, "Where y'all going from here? What's going to get ready to happen?" And they walked off like, "I don't know. Something might happen.
Something might happen. I'm not." She wanted an older man, though. Do y'all think Dominique and Clint work? If Dominique and Clint hooked up, do you think they could work? He's everything she'd asked for: an older man, stable, a partier, very outgoing, adventurous, all the adventure things, everything McKinley's not, Clint is. What y'all think? Let me put a poll up there.
I think we said that once before. It was the age thing. It's such a big gap in their age, but that might not matter to Dominique. I don't know, but I was kind of like, oof. That's how I felt with them kissing. It was a bit much. So I think that's why Gina responded the way she did. Just because it was a bit much, because I don't particularly like to see nobody clean nobody else's tonsils in front of me.
Yeah,
I don't particularly like to see that.
It's probably we all friends. I don't think I have any friends in our friend circle that would cross.
Everybody we know is married.
Not everybody.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. But I don't think anybody would cross circle. I just want to see you tongue. I don't want to see you tongue each other down.
Yeah, so I think that's.
But to me, you break every man code. Even I'm not gonna just give Clint a break. McKinley, I know it was a dare and all that, but they could have backed out the dare. I think as a man code.
He was not going to back out the dare because he was drunk.
I know, but as a man code, I'm not kissing my boy's ex.
That ain't his boy.
Well, I'm kissing a friend. I'm a friend ex. I'm not just.
And Dominique and right Gina, away. I don't know. I ain't gonna say they're friends necessarily.
She ain't been on the show.
I'm not excusing it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that would stop them at all.
Yeah, it's given like they can come out married at first, swingers next.
Right.
High
Vibe said Clint would get bored with Dominique.
He might.
Maybe for some other things, but Clint said he's a sexual person, so he ain't gonna get bored there.
I wouldn't get bored there. We'll see. That's a question that Kevin Frazier may ask. I would ask. Man, I need to host one of these reunion shows.
I wish
I get one of these reunion shows down under my belt. I got questions.
Down and dirty with them questions.
But it seems like when you start getting down and dirty, they edit that bad boy up. They chop that up. They don't want that to go out. I want to see some unedited reunion footage. But no. But you guys, let us know what you think. What you thought about? I guess this season of Married First Sight is over. We got 2 more things. Got reunion. Did we miss anything that was of significance?
Y'all let us know. Did we miss anything that was of significance? Those that watched it, I can't think of anything. We talked about Dominique talking to her mom,
Clinton, Dominique, Jasmine and Eris again, real buddy. I like that. I started off with that, but the reason is I like that buddy chemistry between Jasmine and Eris. They hang out well. They're good friends. Just couldn't be lovers.
Right.
I'm not kissing the whole. I'm not doing that. Past or present. Ain't nobody doing that. Not at all.
But I thought it was funny. The Truth or Dare. Even they said, "Oh, well, we're going back to middle school. We're going back to middle school." Truth or Dare.
I blame Nicole for all this. Nicole gets the blame for all this.
She did.
Again, a man. Well, okay, that's a whole different thing. What's his name? Chris is in trouble. He can't tell her to stop. He has no control in that relationship whatsoever. I'm not saying he should be, but he can't tap on her leg. But don't.
He's not there yet.
Don't do that. He ain't there yet.
He's not there yet.
He's not there yet. You need to. Sometimes you need to say pineapple. You start yelling pineapple like, no, Nicole, don't do it.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. So,
don't say that.
Shaq and Kirsten, again, we hit on that. I think it was a mistake from both of them not being together. I think they could do work well together. Kirsten really has a voice.
Again, marriage is not hard. It takes effort. And at the first sign of
that's a t-shirt. You about to do a t-shirt?
At the first sign of something you got to come up against, like a lot of people give up. He gave up. They really could have worked past that. If you would be open and honest and communicate, that was their problem. When they say it was on the but really communicate.
He should have communicated to you, communicated to her. I feel like you're putting high expectations and I can never meet it. Like you're moving the goalposts. Every time I meet something that you're moving the goalposts.
But he did the same thing to her.
Yeah.
He did the same thing to her. Maybe she felt like you putting undue expectations on me as well. And but again, you expected somebody to do something, but you're not being upfront and forthright about what it is you want them to do. That's what the cousin said too. What are you, a mind reader? Is he expecting you to be a mind reader? Are you just supposed to know to show up to his stuff? If you want somebody to show up for a particular reason, and you say, I really want you to be in Memphis because I'm going to be speaking and I would like the support. And then she can make an informed decision. And if she says no, then it's, I don't care.
83% of you guys don't think Clint and Dom would have worked out.
I don't.
15%, going 50% says yes. Again, I said 86, but it switched though I was talking, so I do not do math. So it's 85% now. Says no, 15% says yes. All right, will Chris and Gina, here we go. Not Chris and Gina. Will Chris and Nicole still be married when we get to reunion?
Yes.
Will any other couples have hooked back up with each other by the time we get back to the reunion?
I think it might be some cross-pollination, but the set couples, no, I don't think so.
Will Mac and Gina be together?
No.
All right. Dom and Clint?
No.
Okay. Shaq and Kirsten, will they have given it a retry?
Nope.
Have we ever had a retry? Y'all married at
I haven't seen
Married at First Sight history. I don't think it has been. I don't think there's been anybody who said no on decision day, and by the time we got back to the reunion, has been together. I know there have been people who said yes on decision day and got to the reunion and haven't been together, but I haven't seen anybody who said no on decision day and try to get back together and give it another try.
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. So I'd be a man about it. So that's what we got for the day. I mean, I appreciate it. There's nothing else. So next week,
unless y'all got something else to say.
Yeah, next week taking off, no panel discussion. Next week you may get a review because I think the little show they got coming on,
it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting. So you may get a review, but there will probably be no panel.
They're gonna catch up with some old Married at First Sight
castmates, people, and start digging it deep.
A tell-all edition. They serving tea.
Serving some tea. So we'll see. My girl Lindsay's on there because she's always good for a good soundbite. Good soundbite. So we'll see. Got Steve and Mindy. So they're gonna talk about their relationship. If you have not seen on social media, Steve and Mindy have been kicking it. You see Jep T and Sharnice. We saw them. What's it? Shawnee's. Because
I know.
Yeah,
it's Shawnee's.
It's Shawnee's. And then who else was there that we saw? Oh, Tristan. My daughter enjoys seeing Tristan.
She likes Tristan, our oldest.
So we'll give you a review on it because we review all things Married at First Sight. We'll see if we give you a panel discussion. We'll check and see. Next week is Father's Day.
It is.
So early happy Father's Day.
That's another reason why we're not having it.
Oh, it is.
Even though I think we did something on Mother's Day.
We did. I don't think I was by myself that day. Might have been. But anyway, love you though. I love you. Fathers don't care. I don't mind dropping these videos for you guys hanging out, talking about Married at First Sight. Really enjoyed. Check out the one. We got to drop 2 of those videos here. Probably after this. Well, we got to watch one episode, but at least by midday tomorrow or by tomorrow evening, you'll have some one reviews. Kurt Franklin's the one that's on TV One. So check that out. We've been reviewing that just behind a lot of things going on last couple of days. So we'll make sure we catch up with that. And don't forget Dallas, Ready to Love, Dallas, July the 7th. So not too far away from that. Start Ready to Love back up as well. And then Married at First Sight, the last 2 weeks here in June, 2-part reunion. We got all the information for you. So once again, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and we guys catch you a little bit later. Enjoy the rest.
And make sure you go subscribe to August Love Story if you haven't.
To Lisa
Ray. And we'll put Chloe too.
Anybody else who reviews Married at First Sight, check them out. Great community.
Chloe Johnson.
If you haven't hit Little Black Book Up 91, hit them up as well. Mm-hmm. So check those out. And we'll catch you guys a little bit later.
Bye.
Have a good day. Peace. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Bye.